MND, what's it all about? Hi, I'm Fluorosol and I'm an alcoholic. No, hang on a minute, wrong script. Here we are, I'm Fluorosol and I have motor neurone disease or MND. When you're first diagnosed and told you have probably 18 months to 2 years to live, it's a bit like I imagine it would be if you'd been shot, only a bit less messy. The doctors discharged me after a 12-day stay in hospital and said your best bet is to get in touch with the MND Association. They know more about this disease than anyone, and they were right. They say the average GP only has a couple of patients with MND in their practice, so they are not going to have the time to be experts on the subject. It wasn't long before we learned that a whole host of agencies coming together as a multidisciplinary team was going to be an integral part of our lives. As I understand it, the GP is intended to be the linchpin reported to by all the agencies and providing the primary health care. So, how do all the various people help? My personal experience is that the neurologists are brilliant people and they start the ball rolling, most importantly first of all with drugs. Yes, you get drugs, Riluzole, until recently the only drug which gives a bit of life extension for people with MND. At the time, we were told it can add 3 to 6 months to your life. Neurologists tell you what's happening to you and monitor your condition. They also make referrals to physiotherapists, occupational therapists, palliative care nurses, respiratory consultants, dietitians, speech and language therapists, augmentative and alternative communication experts, the wheelchair service and the district nurses, etc., etc. At first it seems a bit like you're drowning with all the appointments, but it's well worth it, believe me. Everyone is lovely and they all want to help me. I'm so lucky. The physios provided me with a brace for my foot to prevent it dropping while I was still walking, a gadget hooked onto the front of the shoe with a strap going around the ankle. Very useful. They also tried various colors to keep my head up, but with no real success. The occupational therapists, I've had 3 of them, Jane, Carrion and Jilly, have all been brilliant, assessing my needs and coming up with a host of bits of equipment, real troubleshooters and problem solvers. We have a hospital bed, which I would not be without, particularly as I'm now bedbound. The floor's pretty hard and you can't tilt the floor like you can a bed to help me breathe well. The OTs loaned us a riser recliner for lounging about all day, a hoist for heaving me around. I previously had 2, one mobile and one fixed behind the bed, also a shower chair, which was brilliant for whizzing me around the house. They provided slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, well okay, just slings for hoisting, and invaluable advice on modifications to the house. The shower room converted to a wet room, a bio-bidet for washing my bum, etc. All these and a myriad of other things. A few things weren't altogether successful though, like the satin sheets, which were super slippery, and with the bed tilted right up, they landed me on the floor one night and my wife had to call an ambulance to help get me back into bed. I was fine though, my face broke my fall. The palliative care nurses from St. Christopher's keep in touch every few weeks and make sure all is going smoothly. They liaise with the other agencies too to chase things or instigate potential medical improvements. Let's face it, without the respiratory team, I would be dead long ago. They gave me my trusty nippy ventilator, which I've been on 24/7 for a number of years now to make sure I can breathe, and in 2020 I got my cuff assist machine. Very exciting. The main cause of death for people with MND is lung infections, primarily aspiration pneumonia. I have had it 3 times, and I can't believe anyone would aspire to it. Now, I hope you haven't just had lunch, 'cause this gets a bit yucky. The machine is a wondrous piece of kit, which pushes air into my lungs at force and then pulls it out again, bringing with it a load of mucus, which otherwise blocks my airways and stops me breathing. Breathing in saliva that should go down my esophagus isn't very clever, but with no muscle control, that's what happens. The airways fill up with gunk and, if left, will bacterialize and kill me without intervention. Used in tandem with the suction pump, the machine stops me ending up in hospital and on antibiotics repeatedly. I can't take the mask off for long. That tends to be a bit fatal, so with rests it's about 3 hours worth of semi-torture daily. It goes like this. Hey ho, though, it's keeping me alive. My PEG, or percutaneous endoscopic gastrostomy for short, is basically a tube for feeding by syringe or pump direct to the stomach. When I had mine fitted, I put on the weight I had lost through not having enough energy to eat much and expending huge amounts of energy using my shoulder and neck muscles to breathe, as the diaphragm wasn't working properly. Since then, the dietitians have been great, supplying me with free dairy-free liquid feed and supplements, including the all-important fiber. Anyone who has limited mobility will know exactly why fiber is important. This is all provided on prescription and delivered to my door by Nutricia Homewood. The dietitians come and weigh me every few months to make sure I'm not getting too fat. When my speech started sounding like I'd had 15 pints and I began choking on bits of food, the speech and language therapist put her foot down. Right, that's it, nil by mouth from now on. Difficult to come to terms with, but the speech thing has been probably more challenging. With the therapist's help, we came up with a system of blinking using an alphabet chart so I could convey things to my wife. After all, I can't let her have the last word all the time, and it's important for her to be able to differentiate between "I'd like a snooze now" and "I need the loot now." Of course, communication using blinking is pretty hard work and slow, and I couldn't write the books or my blog without the help of the augmentative and assistive communications team. Pretty ironic that that is such a mouthful when they're there to help people who can't use their mouths to talk, but the advice they gave was invaluable. They set me up with a switch button which I've used for the last 5 years to write and speak with. It connects via Bluetooth to my iPad and I hit it 6 times when I want to pick a letter, first to set the vertical scanner line moving, then to pick the column I want to select, then to set the horizontal scanner line moving, then pick the row I want, then one final click to actually select the letter where the two meet. It takes me about a minute to write 4 words. Speak Unique is an app which translates written text to speech, so I use that to communicate whenever possible. I have used these gadgets to produce this soundtrack. The wheelchair service can sometimes take a long time to provide you with a wheelchair, so we bought a cheap transfer chair first, but when the power chair arrived, it was pretty awesome. The paintwork on the door frames around the house didn't like it much as the steering is very sensitive, but I could bum along at a rate of knots when out and about. Eventually, my hand no longer worked for steering the thing and it was just too dangerous, so my wife got the job of pushing me uphill and down dale. Got to get her to keep fit somehow. All these people have helped preserve my quality of life and thereby helped me keep positive and achieve a lot of goals. These include completing the Great South Run with Pushers Not the Drug variety from Run MND, a great team of people I learned about online.
This is Phil's final run, and they have absolutely smashed it. A sea of orange and blue. Phil Russell, 10 miles. The Simply Held Great South Run is done. Well done, congratulations. Raising money for...
Getting 2 Guinness World Records with my friend Marcus Green, who did all the work pushing me over first a half marathon and then a full marathon distance in Worthing and Goodwood respectively. Great fun, at least for me. All I had to do was hold on tight.
And congratulations to Winchester runners Marcus Green and Phil Russell and all their support team yesterday at Goodwood Motor Circuit in West Sussex. Remember, we met them last week. They broke a new world record for a marathon push, raising money for Motor Neurone Disease and other charities. They beat the record by almost 3 minutes and they broke the 3-hour barrier. What a fantastic achievement from them.
Well done, Marcus and Phil. That is fantastic.
Brilliantly done.
Writing a blog including my world tour, finishing my book Motor Neurone Disease, The Fun Bits, which contains in a fictional framework a fair amount of philosophy, blinking my way virtual climbing up various mountains including Mount Everest and blinking my way from John O'Groats to Land's End. Welcome my friends, thanks for joining me for the last few blinks to the summit of Everest. Feel free to blink with me if you want. Well, here goes. 10, 9 and 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3 and 2, 1, and we made it. One small step for man, one giant blink for MND. Producing, with the help of my good friend Dave Edwards of North Hill Video, a series of video films with my blogs as the soundtrack to encourage people to get their voices banked. It's still a work in progress. Later ones are better than earlier ones. There's plenty to watch already, but more to come. These and all my other marathon and blinking videos etc. can all be found on YouTube if you Google Phil Russell YouTube channel. Hours of endless fun. I'm currently writing a comic novel about teaching and school inspections. I'm about 2/3 of the way through. It'll be published before too long. Raising so far a total of over £50,000 for the MND Association. They have provided great support for us. Raising awareness of MND with various TV and newspaper reports. I'm not really an aspiring celebrity, honest.
Is on a mission to raise £50,000 for charity. Phil Russell from Orpington was diagnosed with motor neuron disease in 2016. Since then, he's done marathons in his wheelchair and most recently taken up a blinking challenge.
It's best not to dwell on what you have lost, but rather to concentrate on what you can still do. I was getting too weak to be able to take part in racing or other more physically demanding challenges. So blinking seemed to be the obvious thing for me to be able to keep doing something positive to help others and raise funds for the MND Association. So now I'm bedbound. What is my typical day like? At 7:45 in the morning, drugs, hooray, given by syringe direct to the stomach via the peg. At 8:30, 3 packs of elemental O28 liquid feed plus supplements, yummy, also delivered to the stomach by syringe via the peg. At 9 o'clock, full body wash, shave and hairdo from my stylist. At 9:30, hair cutting, hair washing and manicure as required. At 10 o'clock, writing my novel, possibly falling asleep for half an hour in the middle. At 11 o'clock, feeling grotty as the mucus builds up. At 10:30, start airway therapy with cough assist machine and suction pump. At 12:30, start mouth care, joy, gauze and hot water to get the solidified gunk off my teeth and from the inside of my mouth. At 1 o'clock, lunch, 2 packs of elemental O28 liquid feed by syringe via the peg again. At 1:30, wife allowed lunch now and we do Wordle and Global while she's eating. At 2 o'clock, more writing and possibly a snooze in between. At 3 o'clock, start to feel groggy and horrible from the mucus again. At 3:30, start airway therapy again with cough assist machine and suction pump. At 4:30, stop therapy and recover and write a bit more or watch something from YouTube. At 6 o'clock, tea, 1 pack of elemental O28 plus supplements, again by syringe via the peg. At 6:30, wife's tea time, watch something together on my iPad, usually a crime drama or similar. At 7:30, start to feel grotty again. At 7:45, airway therapy with cough assist machine and suction pump. At 8:45, finish that and recover. At 9:15, drugs again by syringe via the peg. Yippee. At 9:30, watch something else on telly. At 10:30, time for Zeds. I won't mention the bedpan. When you get a disease like this, there's no point in spending the time you've got moaning about it. You've got to get on with it and make the most of the time you have left. Staying positive is key to your quality of life and, I think, your longevity or lack of it. I can't do any of the more adventurous things I used to do now. I'm in bed all the time, but I can still write, just about. And I will be selling the book, The Stealth Inspector, in aid of the MND Association when I've finished it. They have a fantastic website, all about MND, surprise, surprise. They have association visitors and online forums and provide grants for people with MND who need help, as well as investing in research for treatments and a cure. They need every penny they can get. You can find my Just Giving page in the descriptions below, all my videos and also at the end of this one. Have a look at the introduction to my full No Muscles Rides Again, episode 0, and also enjoy, or should that be endure, one of the later videos from my YouTube channel. It was hard enough getting me in and out of the boat. Thanks for listening. Goodbye, and remember, Google Phil Russell YouTube channel.